Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome. So we're going to go through SPX and SPY. We'll also look at the VIX, and we'll go ahead and look at MJ now. We finally got some movement there. We got a bounce in IBIT with Bitcoin there. And so we'll look at all those items on the daily time frame, and we'll end this video with the with SPY and kind of a pathway on where I think we're going. You'll see that on SPX here too. So I just got done doing a video, a couple videos on why I think the market is going to crash and what it's going to look like next week. So if you want to be a YouTube member, that level is $4.99 a month. We have plenty of videos out there that we do each and every day for those members. But we are doing this intraday. We do these videos intraday. It's almost 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you just want to support the channel and you like the information in here, it's 99 cents to help support. You can jump in the Discord if you want to. I highly suggest that if you're an active trader. We have swing traders in there, investors, lots of good information. And so I urge you to join us with that, and I thank you for your support. So let's jump into it. We have SPX on the daily time frame. This is where we left off. We have our bearish rising wedge, and hey, good job for the bulls in this bounce. And it's to me, it's very deceptive because it looks like we're regaining this wedge. And then if you are bullish, you want to see a regain and breakout from this wedge to the upside. Okay, 7,000. You want to get above that and go on beyond. All right. So I'm not in that camp, but we always have to leave those options open, no pun intended. All right. So with that being deceptive, I think this is going to break down, and I think we're going to head lower and fast next week. Okay, and going into the next 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. Here's our trend. We're right at the 20 moving average for our trend. So let's just call it neutral to down at this point. So that's, again, this big Marabuzzo bar. It's very deceptive, very bullish looking, but we're at a lot of resistances around the horn. So like I said, I did this video. We went around to all the major indices. And I'm just giving you the heads up that we're not there yet. So if you're bullish. All right. So we're trying to regain that 8 and the 50. We're still underneath the 20. So momentum is neutral to down. And the 20, the trend is so far down. McClellan oscillator, just like we talked about yesterday, we got the bounce. I thought it was just going to backtest and head lower from there. But we're still not. We're still not seeing that rotation. I thought we might see a rotation kind of into tech, and then IWM and DIA make a significant fall, and therefore SPY could catch up. That clearly didn't happen that way, but we're getting that bounce, and we're into the moving averages. And like I said yesterday, we should see a downtrend. This is not going to be a straight line. Sometimes it almost looks like it, but you should see spikes, dips, spikes, dips. And this next wave should be a nice move. And I think at the end of the wave that we'll see a little bounce and then either a divergence, a positive divergence, or a deeply oversold like this condition. All right. To be determined, right? Okay, so we were oversold. We got our bounce there. We're still in this downtrend with negative divergences. None of that played out yet, you guys. This is going to play out, and it's going to play out sharp. All right, so the slow stochastic attempting to cross up. We'll see where it has to go. Maybe that's just a back test and we head further down here. Again, this is something we'll have to test. So this information comes out at the end of the bar. The close of the bar, and this is a daily candle, so maybe we're already up here or even way up here, but if we're, let's say, mid-range, that could be just a sign that we're in a downtrend, and that would be more of a likely situation in my mind. We're in those bearish conditions, right? Red histograms, heading south. Divergences have not played out yet. All right. DMARC. We're at a 6 count, and like I said, we're looking for a 9 count to the downside. I think we're going to get that, plus a little bit more. So at this point, with this kind of timing, I could imagine, maybe another candle up here where we get some sort of doji, some sort of reversal, since we just have a bar straight up. Doesn't have to. We could get a gap down on Monday and get like a Harami reversal too. I'm looking for a reversal at this point, but how it happens, we'll see. It could be a big red bar. It could be an engulfing. That could be a reversal candle. It can happen in many, many different ways, but we'll be looking for one. And it really doesn't matter how it does it. But okay, let's go to SPY. Oh yeah, this nice bar we have here. It won't let me correct it, so I just remove it. I'm sorry that takes up your time here. We have the divergences that have played out over and over. We're still in the downtrend. Distribution has happened, and it's going to start playing out. I think it already has started playing out. Bollinger Band, we're at the mid band here. We had that buy setup, right? I talked about that yesterday. We're oversold. Passing through the Bollinger Band, we got the buy. I didn't think it'd spike up so fast. Rip your face off rally. That's just what it is. That's what happens in any market. I was going to say bear markets, which we will be in, but any market where you get oversold, you can have a rip your face off rally. Volume shelf, we knew that we were on one right now, and we're looking for 60 to 70 lower. Elliott oscillator, still ready to play out. We had the wave 3 into wave 5. We talked about that, and it's starting to go red. I think we're going to go deep red. Going to the VIX. Now, so you saw the moving averages on the overall market. Those are key, okay? You can't trust the market underneath the 8 in the 20 EMA. So the VIX is coming to an entire confluence of a bullish setup. Okay, moving averages, levels. 17 is going to be extremely important. You have the 200, and this is also why I kind of guessed that there might be a doji candle, a reversal candle going on Monday, where this could fall a little bit more and test either the trend line, the 20 moving average, the 100, the 200. It's all here, folks, and the horizontal level as well. So, and note, we had our cycle low. We're in the rising cycle. Okay, next move easily can get up to 28. Do I think 28? No, I don't think it's going to stop there. As a matter of fact, it might go up to 45, and after some sort of rejection, then test this trend line up top. That is a possibility. It is a good possibility. And then after that happens, we should have a nice big rejection. And we should see that rejection come into lows around just past March here, around the beginning of March. Okay, so this is going to happen fast. We're looking for a peak, as a matter of fact. I'm not going to show all the cycles in the SPX. We're looking for a peak somewhere near the 20th, 22nd, 23rd, somewhere around that point. And after that, you should see a nice rip your face off rally with a VIX, a knockdown, beat down after that. But that's what we're looking for, folks. If you want to know a lot more detail, again, jump into that membership, jump into the Discord. A lot of that, you don't even have to have the upper premium membership. You just have to watch some of the stuff that I post in there, and I talk to different traders, and they give their opinions as well. And I love it. There's bulls in there. There's bears in there. It's fine. We love different situations so we can hold ourselves in check. All right. Now, Here we go. We are starting to see a little bit of life. We kind of have this hot dog pattern, right? We have the green bars of the bun, the red bars, the hot dog. It's a bullish Rami setup. We're starting to see some life. Let's see if we get follow through coming up. Same thing, MSauce. Looking good, even looking better. By the end of the day, we might even have a candle breakout. We'll see. It might be an inside A, and we'll look for follow through next week. And I'm telling you, I know that I remember somebody saying something in the YouTube comments like, why do you think the market's going to top, but then cannabis bottom? I mean, how does that make sense? Well, it's similar to a commodity. Like things, it trades on its own. It has no effect. As a matter of fact, I would call it rotation of money. Money's going to go into some other market, a bull market in this case, which I think we're in. And we should see a rise of cannabis stocks as the market falls and goes into a recession. Boom. Here we go. IBIT. What a bounce. Okay, we talked about, again, yesterday, we said we were in the area. As a matter of fact, we were at that gap close, right? It could have went down here. I still think we make it down here. But we got the dead cat bounce, and we're coming into resistance. So maybe a day or two up here, and maybe we reject from there, or maybe we get a more complex correction, and that can happen too. You could have flat patterns and such. This is a flat pattern right here. It doesn't have to go straight up and then straight down. That's not usually how the market works. In particular, you set up patterns. So this could end up being a triangle, right? All right. So in other words, I am looking for a wave 4. All right. And there's ways to measure that. Whether that's on a higher degree up here or a lower degree down here. I'm looking for wave 4. All right, let's go to SPY and show you where we might go from here. So I did talk about it. I showed you on SPX, kind of that down arrow that went to resistance, but that's not exactly what, this is what we're looking at. So you had all the divergences here. Those are playing out. Great. Now, where do we go from here? So I took these lows, possibly from this point to this point. You have 3 different areas that held on to this possible pivot. I think that's likely where we go. That will bring us into this zone here, which there's some volume in there. And there's also resistance. There's a couple resistance zones, but I think this is an important level. And there's other reasons why this is an important level. And again, that's for members. We use our Elliott oscillator in order to get those levels, and that's what it gave us. So I suspect, let me try to zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so what I suspect is happening is, and by the way, we can have a horizontal bar as well. You can have these lows, and you can have a horizontal around 655. We'll call the zone 655-ish to all the way down to this level. I know that's a huge zone, right? But the fact is we start getting into support right here about 655. Okay, and it is highly unlikely that that's exactly where we're stopped. I think that maybe we even get a reaction here and then fill in the blanks. We'll know ahead of time after we do a little bit of work with extensions and things like that. So while we're here, why don't we do a little bit of work? All right, so there's 2 ways you can look at this. I'm going to keep it clean, and I'm just going to say this is a 1-2 setup. Okay? So all of this move was a wave 1. You have your 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves in here. Now we have an A, B, C. That's a flat pattern. All right. We passed the 50. Let me get that out of there. And then the next stop, if there's some strength going in and we need a doji or so, we have another stop up here at the 786, which is about 693. But we're at the level right now for a 1-2 setup. And what is a 1-2 setup? I actually have a video on it if you're interested. But in short, it's just a wave 1 into wave 2, and we're set up for a big move into wave 3. So how do you measure that? You take the distance of wave 1. So I'm up at the top and I grab the bottom and then I retrace all the way back to where price rejects. Now I'll have to adjust this if price goes up a little bit further. But as of right now, if this is where it stops, and let me clean this up, all we want is the 162 extension. And the 162 extension does not have to be where price stops for a wave 3. It's just a good guidance. And guess what? Look at that. It goes right into where our support starts. So in between, do we get a whole lot of stops? Probably not. But we're looking at about 654, 655, that whole area I was just talking about. Let's make this green. Let's make this, hey, we're going to get some bouncing out of here. And after that, so we'll look for some sort of move. Make this turquoise with an arrow. And not in a straight line, but we're getting a 1, a 2. The 3 should be pretty sharp. We'll get it into this zone here. It could spike a little bit through. And then we'll look for a bounce. Sorry, my kids are home. Get a bounce. And that's not a measured bounce there. We can measure that later on. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. And get your wave 5 going into support here. All right. And then you have a significant bounce after that. A very tradable bounce for that. So we'll get there when we get there. And then we'll look at the VIX just to top this off. And in the weekend, we'll go through the weekly time frames, and I'll show you exactly what this should look like on SPX and SPY there. But we have our uptrend. We've held on to those. You have a little bit of room here if you want to have that a doji in there. Maybe you bounce a little bit and then get the drop down a little bit lower. Anything could happen within there. But we're looking for either it could reverse right off of this point too. You do have support going on in there. And then you have some gaps to close up high. Now, all the gaps are filled to the downside above the trend line. If we start breaking down from the trend line and the moving averages, that's bullish, and we're going to all-time highs, and yay for bulls, okay? Another note is we hit 50,000 in the Dow today. That's not typically a awesome thing when it comes to follow through. That might be a sign that we're pretty much done with this move as well. So just want to show that. We're probably already almost oversold in this VIX here. So we're down to the end here. We're not quite into the oversold. We're just at that 30 above there. The slow stochastics down here at the bottom. It can oscillate here for a little bit if it needs to. And this is going to take its time to roll back over. Do we go all the way to the other side? Only if we're heading lower. We're in this bullish uptrend right here, and we're back to the zero line to head higher, in my opinion. All right, so we knew that we were getting that bounce here as well because we had negative divergence. All right, I don't always show these in the videos here, but we called it out in the Discord, and that's what gave us our drop here. Is that a 3-wave move drop? Done. Could be, or we could have that little tiny 5th wave to go just a little bit lower. So thanks for joining us here at OptionsTender. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.